Hi, my name is Brent Calthorpe, president of Urshan College and Urshan Graduate School of Theology, here today again with the Leadership Vlog. Thank you for joining us today as we talk about the subject of leadership in the church and to the world. Last time we were together, we started talking about team and how important teamwork is, team ministry, team leadership, working together in the kingdom of God. We are a body. And from the very beginning in the scriptures, we see that Jesus, the greatest leader of all time, the first thing he did in launching his ministry is he gathered a team. There were different levels of team. They had the three, Peter, James, John. There were the 12 apostles. But even above that, there were the 70. And when Jesus sent out to minister, he sent them out two by two. When we talk about Paul and the great apostle Paul, most of the time we're talking about Paul and somebody who he was ministering with. Well, it was Barnabas, Paul and Silas, Timothy, Titus, different ones. And so this is how ministry and true leadership in the church and out of the church takes place. In fact, if there's no followers, there really are no need for leadership. It is us working together as a team. And so when we talk about team ministry, it's us all fulfilling our role. Again, as we talked about last week, it's not just adding up our scores like a golf team. It's us fulfilling our role like a football team or a basketball team. We need to be in our right place at the right time doing the right things. And when you all put it together, it's like a symphony. It's beautiful. But there are things that help us when we are having a team ministry or team leadership. First of all is communication. Communication is a vital part of teamwork. If we don't communicate with one another, the left hand might not know what the right hand is doing. Things fall throughout the cracks because we have assumptions that someone else has it taken care of or someone else has responsibility for it. And when we talk about communication and teamwork, healthy teamwork, there are two aspects that are needed. First of all is we have to be advocates, but we also have to have a desire or a spirit of inquiry. What I'm saying is that when you come to a team, the reason you're on the team and your part is that you have something to offer. You need to be able to share that. Healthy teams allow people to share their ideas, their creativity, problem solve, to use critical thinking skills to analyze what's taking place, what's the strengths, what the weaknesses, what are we doing well, what do we need to improve in. That's what creative thinking and critical thinking skills allow us to do. But if we see it and we can't communicate it, well, then obviously the entire team suffers. And so we need to make sure in our teams that everyone feels like they can be an advocate for their perspective. We don't always get our way, but we can always have our say on healthy teams. And so that's an important part. But the second part is inquiry. We have to have a desire to understand. When we are going to have healthy teams, it's not enough just to believe that our way is the only way and just advocate. Just as much we have to have the balance of trying to understand where other teammates are coming from, their ideas. Why do they think that this would be a good solution? Why do they think this is the direction we need to go? And we can't make assumptions of why people are advocating for their position just when it's different from ours. We need to have this hunger to understand. And when inquiry and advocacy come together in communication, teams are strengthened. In fact, it's amazing to me the time that in teamwork that the greatest ideas come and it wasn't one person advocating for their view or one person inquiring about someone else's, but in that these all become sort of springboards or diving boards to dive into something deeper, something that none of us would have come up with on our own. And so we have to understand the importance of communication because in teamwork also we realize that there is a collective responsibility. The success of the team, we don't blame it on one person. One person doesn't get all the glory and all the credit or all the blame, but it's us working together. Many times in organizations, leadership tends to get probably too much credit and too much blame, one way or the other. Because anybody that's involved in any kind of organization realize that if you're a leader, if the organization is successful, it's because you had a lot of help and there's a lot of people fulfilling their roles. Many times these roles are not as visible. In Paul's metaphor of the body, there are some parts that are more presentable or more out in the opens. They are seen. So if you're a senior pastor or you're a CEO of a company, Many times your face is associated with the company. And so when it goes well, that is the picture that comes to people's mind, and you receive credit. But realize, if you're a leader, when you receive that credit, that is really a tribute to the entire team. And we have to make sure that we don't allow ourselves just to receive all of that and think, or deceive ourselves to think that really it was all about us. We made it possible. We need to realize every time that happens that there's a win on the team, that even though we might be the one that they're handing the accolade to, that it's because of all the followers, all the teammates throughout the organization that made that success possible. I think about the organizations that I lead, whether it's the local church or involvement in a district, or here at Urshan College and Urshan Graduate School of Theology. And many times I might be asked to speak or recognized just because of the title, the role that I have. That's what North House would refer to as a legitimate leadership role. It's that title. But I understand there's nothing that happens successful without a ton of people playing their role on a daily basis. Many up front, but many, a large percentage, are behind the scenes, not really in the public eye. And we have to realize, when it comes to the kingdom of God, this is about collective responsibility. We all have a role to play. We're all responsible. And so we have to make sure that we give ourselves for the team. Because the third aspect that I want to share about with teamwork is common objectives. The reason we're on this team is that we have a shared vision. We bought into the same mission. So if it's a local church and it's making sure you are salt and light and you're reaching your community, whether it's a parachurch organization and in some way you're fulfilling the call of God, or maybe it's a business that you are running and operating to provide for your family and to make an impact on the community, that when we come on board, we have to make sure we buy into the shared objectives for the overall organization. That's what teams do. They work together to see success. And so as we have been talking about teamwork, I want to just once again encourage you that make sure communication is a part of your team. Make sure that people feel like they can advocate, that they can share and even give you the reasoning why they think something should be done in a particular way, and cast their vision of the solution to the problems of your organization. But at the same time, we need to make sure we have the spirit of inquiry, that we're wanting to understand, not just to be understood, but to understand. We've got to take collective responsibility. We don't blame individuals for failures on the team. Neither do we think that it is all one individual superstar's responsibility for all the success. It is a team effort. And we have to make sure, when it comes to the end of the day, that the reason we're on this team is because we have a shared vision. We are in agreement and alignment with the purpose of the organization that we're a part of. Once again, thank you for joining me today for the Urshan vlog and this Urshan Minute. We're so glad that you're a part of our community of leaders and followers that we're trying to build here at Urshan. And we hope you'll tell somebody about our leadership vlog. God bless you. We'll see you next time.